Peace, Worglies back here with another video, man. Like I told you, I was going to educate y'all and help give y'all a little bit of insight on how to revolutionize. And I started out by writing down the definition to a revolution, and it's a forcible overthrow of a government or social order in favor of a new system. So how can we effectively revolutionize to maximize our benefit in the changes we want to see in this country? And it can only come by one way, of organization. If you take a look throughout history, for the American Revolution, the Middle East revolutions, slavery and the Civil War, they all have a common theme: organization. If it wasn't for the slaves revolting, escaping from slavery, getting to the north by the way of white northerners, helping them along their passage, all that took strategy and organization. Now in this time, it's great that we're demonstrating, we're banding together, we're putting our differences aside to advocate for the mistreatment of blacks in this country for over God knows when. But I feel as if our energy is a little misguided. So I feel like that's where the organizational piece comes in. It's great that we're demonstrating and we're out there and we're protesting. But when it comes to rioting and looting, not saying that I agree with those things, but let's be strategic about who we're hitting, what businesses we're hitting, where we're going to do these things. It's no good if you're rioting and looting your own community. Sneaker stores in your hood, liquor stores in your hood. What are you doing? That's just hurting you because that's your community where you gotta live. But if you riot and you looting and you doing demonstrations at City Hall, Town Hall, you going down to the courts. You dig what I'm saying? You going to the police precinct and you standing up in there causing a ruckus. Now that's a little bit different. Your needs are gonna get met way faster. They don't care if you mess up your neighborhood. That's your community. They don't live there. They just work there. So like I said, our energy is a little misguided, and all it takes is a little bit of organization and a little bit of wit and know-how to get us back on track. Like I said, the common thing through revolutions throughout history is organization. So how do we organize and get ready for a revolution? How do we do that? What's the steps needed? Like, what do we have to do? How do we prepare for a revolution? And the first thing is first, if none of us know how to farm, fish, hunt, none of us have our gun license, none of us know how to gather anything, we're already at a disadvantage. We're not ready for a revolution. You see what they're doing to Israel and Iran. They're literally starving those people out for America to get their way over there. So if we're not ready to sacrifice and not be so dependent on what America has to offer and start doing things for ourselves, our revolution will be short-lived. So once we get farmers in order, people who could plant this, or this person knows a lot about agriculture, this person is very good with technology, with building websites and getting our message across. These group of guys are great hunters, can hunt, pick it, kill it, what have you, take the skin, get the meat, and bring them back to camp. Those are what this group of people are good for. This group right here has a lot of guns and ammunition, a lot of know-hows about military tactics and strategy and things of that nature. Because at the same time, we don't want it to get taken to that extent, but we have to be ready to protect ourselves at all times. Once we get that organizational piece down on how we're going to live and survive just in case things go sour, then we're ready to move on to the revolting stage of things. And that means controlling this. We have to control the dollar. I got a ripped up $5 bill. We control the value of a dollar. The value of a dollar is based on the spending that a country has, which how it gains its power of a dollar. So if we, as the proletariat versus the bourgeoisie, if we stop spending for a day, 2 days, 3 a week, or maybe even a month, then our need, they'll be more readily available to tend to our needs than if we're still out spending money. You riot Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but then you go back to work Monday and you put all the money through time and service back into the company's pocket after you just looted and you rioted. You understand what I'm saying? So after we get those bases filled of having people in charge of this and that, and then we stop spending so much money and start gaining control of the dollar, then that's when we come with a list of demands that need to be met in order for us to come back and participate into society And some things for me that I wrote down is the mains. I want to see big changes in the educational system. So I'm from the city of Rochester, and our inner city school district is piss poor. We're over budget by a couple $1,000,000, couple $100,000 $1,000,000. They continue to throw money at the issue. They hire teachers that don't look like the kids that they're going to teach. So I want to hire teachers that look like me and care about the cause of educating children. That's one of the things that I wrote down on my list that's mandatory. And I want us to stop throwing money at issues, getting the latest tablets, the latest Apple. Every room got a projector. There's no point in having a projector or the latest Apple if the teacher can't teach nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And I definitely want to see cops and the police and our government reform the training process for police officers. Less time at the gun range and more time in classes, in humanity classes, learning psychology, learning how to de-escalate situations, learning other forms of tactics of encountering civilians, rather than the first thing we do is pull our guns and we get physical. I'll respect a cop way more for pulling for your taser, pulling for your mace, pulling for your baton versus immediately pulling for your gun. Now, I know a lot of cops, and I know you have to assess the threat properly to where they are less of a threat to society, but I still feel as if the system that we have in place and the training that we have in place for police officers should really be reformed. And that's another thing on my list that we definitely need to take a look at is the laws we have in place to protect the people behind the badge. We have to take a look at Congress and what they're enacting. Once we begin to learn about the Constitution and the laws and our rights and what they can and cannot do, and okay, I don't like that law is a little bit tricky in wording, maybe we should add that in there. And we can't let them come half-ass. Once we begin to hit their pockets, they'll come a knocking. But we can't allow ourselves to be pacified by the little treats and the little droplets that we throw our way. It's either you meet all of the expectations or you meet none of them at all. And while we're in that process of revolutionizing and revolting, we're still not spending money, but we have the farmers here. We have the hunters here. This person used to own a restaurant, was a chef, so they're bringing the meat straight to them. Everybody is eating, but we also have to be ready to sacrifice just in case things go sour. Like I said, they're starving the people in Israel. They control the food and pipelines, the food supplies, water pipelines coming in and out of Iran. They're definitely sucking them dry. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why they have so much uproar in the Middle East, because America likes to control. But if we have the organization of our revolution intact and we have the basis filled already for the things that we need filled, revolting would not be a problem regardless of what America decides to throw at us. We'll be ready and capable to handle what comes our way. And we have to stop getting distracted by the distractions. The media, the world, America, the government would like to throw in little things at us to keep us divided. Oh, light skin versus dark skin. Oh, your struggle not the same struggle as mine. You understand what I'm saying? We have to be able to see through the nonsense that's being thrown our way. Oh, I can't talk to you. You a Muslim and I'm a Christian. Well, I can't talk to either one of y'all because I'm a Catholic. White, black, brown, whatever, whoever's willing to participate to see America change for the better, then we have to definitely be willing and honoring to work with everybody of all shades, of all colors. We can use help from all parts of the spectrum. But I don't want to rant and take up too much of your time. We're going on 10 minutes anyway. But I just want to give you guys a rough sketch template, strategy for how to revolutionize. Read books of The Art of War by Sun Tzu and 40 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. If we don't organize and guide our energy in the right direction, and be strategic about what we're deciding to hit next, the revolution will be in vain and it'll mean nothing. Why are we tearing up our own communities? We have to live here. They're here to work and they're going back home. We have to stay here. So let's hit it where we know they'll have no choice but to pay attention to us. And violence begets violence. Pay attention to history. History is a repeating cycle, but that's just my spiel. I feel like I'm more of an impact through organizing and helping and educating and dropping my jewels on people. That's where my impact is felt. I don't feel as if my impact is felt from holding up a picket sign and, you know, screaming fuck the police and fuck 12 and fuck racist pigs and things of that nature. I feel as if my presence was more felt behind the scenes, organizing, getting things ready, planning for this and that, you know, what's to come, what different things of that nature. So, but I'll leave you on that note. Just the organizational level, organization of revolting, you know, that's the most important piece that you have to pay attention to throughout this message is organization, organization, organization. You might have this group of people that's good with technology and they can build us a website and they're good with social media to get our word out. Like I said, this group is good at fireman hunt, things of that nature. Everything plays into one another, but we have to be ready for everything that comes our way. But I'm gonna leave y'all with that though. Peace and love.